Well, we will begin our Village of North Bennington trustee meeting for April. And when I get the agenda in front of me, I'll see where we start here. First item, review and approve the minutes of March 10.
I had one question, and that was about the marble.
Yes.
And is that going to be used at McWhorter's Park, or was that just going to be
No, it was one of the
considered?
suggestions. We had to find out whether it can be used there or not.
Right.
Because the other one we thought of was also pairing. So there's a possibility we could use it in either. Just waiting to hear from Jim, who has to talk to, what's the company that's doing the, out of Manchester? Can't think of the company that's.
Yeah, when will we be discussing, will there be a discussion of that, or is that the Parks Department deciding that, or?
For the
where
upper
it
Main
would
Street,
go?
where it would go?
Yeah.
It has to be, basically, it has to be approved by the state because it's state funded.
Gotcha.
So we have to see that where we're gonna use it is acceptable for the terms of the grant that we get. So one of the suggestions was possibly down the park, one, I think it has to be village property.
Right.
And I think they prefer it stay in the historic district, if I'm not mistaken, but potentially.
I thought it would be interesting in that vacant lot next to Pangea that gets used and has nothing there other than lawn right now,
The vacant lot, whereabouts?
right by the river.
Oh.
Some way of dressing it up, maybe put a picnic table there on some marble or something, you know. It gets used a lot, and it's actually the one.
The Short Aldrich Park.
Is that what it's called? The one right.
No, right by your
the
parking
yellow
lot.
firehouse.
Okay, so that, yeah, right down by the
I
water
don't know, I
there.
just thought if we have extra stuff, it might be a way to dress it up somehow.
Absolutely,
Make it
yeah.
other than a patch of just grass, because it does get used every single day by people.
Yeah.
Need a little path up down to the
Little
water
path or something, or even just a square with a park bench on it so people could sit there. I don't know, just occurred to me.
No, yeah, what I'll do is
Yeah, I don't
I can
think
actually
anything
mention
quick
that
will
to them
happen with
too.
it, but that's good. It's a good idea.
And basically, in order to, the more ideas we get on where we can use it, I assume one of them will be acceptable, so it's good to have several ideas in case they don't like
Great,
some of the others, so I'll mention that as well.
good, thank you.
Any other comments on the minutes?
I'll move we approve them.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Review the monthly warrant, approve the payment of bills.
Manchester Powerhouse.
Pistons for our snowplow.
I'm sorry, what?
Pistons.
Oh, Pistons, okay.
So I assume after looking at this, you have a lot to report?
Well,
Because it looks like you have there's a lot of,
There's a lot of, you know.
A lot of
this is the-
breakdowns.
This is the time of year, I mean, you know, without me actually looking at one of those, it's hard for me to explain it to you.
oh no, I wasn't looking for
I get it.
specifics, I just noticed a lot of it is Allied auto parts, Bond auto parts, Advanced auto parts, there's just a lot. So I figured it was one of those months.
One of those catch-up months.
Yep.
Any other questions?
I move we approve the April warrant.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
And is there a wind coat?
Yes.
I move we approve the wind coat for 952.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And the payroll warrant, which is now electronically submitted. Go ahead and approve that.
I'll make a motion to approve the warrant.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oh, I gotta sign that. Sometimes I remember. Great, moving on.
Does this mean only one of us can go?
I don't know, that's a good question.
That's it. I don't think he means that.
Either it's gonna happen tomorrow or she just wants to
I think he means really the fire department member, a fire person and a spouse, but,
It's not a big deal.
oh, well, I don't know, we better ask.
It says we invite a member.
Usually they insist we're all, you know, they want us all there. Okay. Citizen comments. There are no citizens present. Treasurer's report.
There is nothing in addition to the warrant this time.
Very good.
However, what I am working on is to do a new year-to-date with where we are, since we're almost, towards the end. The big credits are going to help the cash flow because it's almost like we prepaid some of the electricity.
Right.
So there's a month of that. Right now, all the balances are reconciled. They look, fairly reasonable with right now, barring anything huge. Some of the larger expenses are grants, and those are being turned around pretty quickly. So that's there too. We'll have a better feel in a couple of months
Yeah.
what we might need to borrow. But right now, I think things are looking reasonably well to get through, at least through June, if not July, before we need anything.
Great. Any questions, comments about that? Moving right along to the highway facilities report. Mr. LeBlanc.
Well, obviously, snow has stopped, hopefully till tomorrow, tomorrow night. We have had the graffiti company came, all the graffiti in town.
Oh, they did?
From our last event is gone, so
Excellent.
we'll be getting a bill for that pretty quick. But that went pretty seamlessly. We do need the company that you guys dealt with when you bought that for the coating on it.
American Ramp, I think is the company.
Yeah,
Okay, I get it for you. Yeah, I get it.
stop up the garage and
Yeah.
we can Google them, because I remember there was a can of like touch-up paint, so you can see, if actually we were vandalized, and there's, it's never gonna look the same, it's just not.
Right.
You know what I mean? And,
That's fine.
we could have had it repainted by the graffiti guys, but then there's, without a different product, it's, you know what I mean? You're creating more problems on top of your problems.
All right,
So,
so we just need to get,
well, I want to talk to them. 'Cause
Okay, sure.
I know there's a can of touch-up paint, and if it's reasonable, maybe a couple sides we can do. But
All right.
all the dugouts have been painted, the wall has been removed. They did a nice job, came in and bam, got rid of it. So that's pretty good. We've started filling some potholes. I know there's a lot around town, and I gotta tell you, I'm kind of staying back a little bit with them because we got a machine coming, a demo machine, that's actually gonna make asphalt, kind of like from our crack sealer guy, and it could be a real permanent patch. So you're gonna have to bear with us on some of them holes. He's coming May 7th, so I promise you on May 7th, the week after, we'll be hammering them. So, right now, we would just be really throwing money away on one side, either getting the machine and sending it back full of product that we're not gonna use, which is not cheap, or, you know what I mean, or double doing it, and it's just, there's a couple on College Road we're gonna have to patch. They're just bad. They're really bad. There's some on Church Street. People can navigate around them a little bit, so we're gonna try to let them go as best we can. I would like to let the ones on College Road go, but they're just going by them this afternoon. They're just too bad. We'll put some cold patch in them. Maybe it'll be blown out by the time they come, and we'll patch them again. So we're out there. If you see one, if there's one bad, please call the office, or call a trustee, and we'll go fix it. We're not. Started spring cleanup. The train station's done, the firehouse is done, the park that you're talking about, they call it the dog park. There was a residence there at one time, they knocked it down. So we cleaned a lot of that today. the upper by the fountain, you know, or excuse me, by the waterfall, we cleaned that. So we're picking up little pieces here and there. We swept. I don't know if you guys have been up to the garage, but and some of that expense is getting that new street sweeper going. You know, we swept a lot of the village. You know, we keep doing it. Right now it's at our neighbor. They're using it. You know, we paid for half of it, so they got it, and then we'll get it back and we'll do some more. So we've swept all the sidewalks, almost all of them. The old marble one in front of, on the west side of Bank Street there, we haven't swept that yet. Could be if local contractor does Homestead Muse with a sweeper and a bucket, we'll have to sweep that because of the way it is, because all we're gonna do is destroy somebody's lawn. So hopefully we'll get that done soon, and everything's pretty much cleaned up there. We started looking at our grant paperwork. Mary turned in a bunch of slips for me so I can turn in to get some money back. And I've been working with a company called Tensar. And what Tensar is a fabric company and a stabilization fabric. And they actually want to try a demo piece, which they've refused to for the last 2 or 3 years. But I finally wore down the CEO, and he's going to send us a demo piece. And what my proposal to the board is Depot Street right here. We're always, it's terrible, it needs to be paved, okay? And this is one of those streets that fabric is made for. And what it is an alligator crack street. That's what they call that kind of cracking that we have. And they shim it, then put this material down and then repave on top of that. And what it does is it provides so instead of, like, think about this, you're walking out on your driveway and you step on a piece of mud, right? Your foot goes to your ankle deep. You throw just a piece of cardboard there, now you step on that same piece of cardboard and you're floating, right? It's that same technology. Now, in turn for beating them up pretty good, they're gonna give us half that fabric to do that street. And we're gonna pay for the other half. And we have to do some tracking on it for that. And, you know, it's going to be a showpiece. It's kind of in central New England, so they can show people. The street's small enough, it's 480 feet, and we can pave it with the money we're getting back from the other side. We can do this whole project. Done deal. I got some commitments from our neighboring towns with the grinder to put keyways in. So, you know, again, the thing that takes that $30,000 job and backs it down to 18, we can do. And that's really where we need to spend our spring payment.
Cool.
So.
That looked like a pretty neat product.
Yeah, it is, and you know what I mean, and you know, they're real excited. So, you know, again, with the board's blessing, I think we're gonna head full steam ahead of that. Now, you know, Mary turned in those slips, and again, I'm going to take David to the state office with me just in case they happen to forget about what the promise that they made to us. But you know, we should reclaim all the money we had out on Bank Street, and that will be able to take care of that. And that's what we thought. It's a small street right now. You know, we got to get together between all of us and a couple big pavers that we need to talk about College Road and Mechanic Street, some of our long streets, and that could even be, you know, that's, I don't want to speak foolishly, but, you know, maybe that's a bond issue for the village or something, you know what I mean? I don't know, that's going to be humongous. Now I've got a couple ideas, and there's one that's, you know, about trying to work with some equipment stuff that we're going to talk about in an executive session, but you know, that's going to be a big street, and it's bad. We all know it, right? And that's why I'm bringing in these different vendors with a couple different machines to try to figure out how we can fill this and prolong it just a little bit longer. But it's bad. It's getting bad, you know. And if this fabric is the cure-all here, that's the same solution for over there.
Yeah.
But we can't afford to go over there, you know. other than that, you know, it's just maintenance and starting spring. We gravelled some of Park Street, again with some help from our neighboring community. You know, we're just waiting for mud season to go. It seems to be winding down, but, you know, just when it's gone, you know, tomorrow it's gonna sneak back up on us.
I noticed you put the lock back on the Wellings Gate. Did you happen to notice the?
Yeah, I did.
I was gonna bring it up tonight. I drove over there before the meeting and
Yeah.
saw you put a lock on there.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to
Can
talk
we-
about that.
Yeah, well, it's another case of vandalism. So a car got up in there and tore up, kind of over where we had the soccer field a couple years ago. And luckily, the ground was still pretty frozen, so I think they just got kind of into about the first 5-6 inches.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go up next week and try to just kind of fill it in, and because I've got a set of soccer goals to put back in there.
Okay.
So to turn it back into a field again, but timing's everything, and of course they tore it up just before we were gonna do it. And I was actually wondering, we've had issues up there with people breaking the lock off, and can we put something, either a log, a stone in front of that, have no access up there? Nobody uses that field right now anyway, and that's kind of where some of our efforts are gonna be, hopefully this spring, through the Park and Rec and Little League and things like that. Can we,
So you're thinking doing something more permanent than the gate?
not permanent, leave the gate up, but for now, put in,
You don't think that gate's just enough now that it's locked with that lock? I mean, that's a good, that's
didn't
one of
they-
our locks. That's not a cheap
Right.
lock with that chain. I mean, they're gonna,
so that, I mean, they're gonna have to work at it to get in there?
yeah, they're gonna come out
So
with a
for
big
now,
barrel.
why don't we just see what happens with the lock, and then if they break through that lock or something through the gate, then
I
we'll.
mean, we can
I wasn't thinking of anything permanent, I was thinking of something just temporarily,
We can
put a
bring-
log in front of that, so.
bring one of them, we can open the gate, bring one of those waste blocks down, set it down behind the gate, and then close it.
If you think the lock will do the trick,
those.
yeah, if you think the lock will do the trick.
Yeah, our
We'll
biggest
stick with that
problem
for
with the
now.
lock last time is when the community service guys were mowing it. There was always different people, and then the key was
They
getting
forget.
lost.
Forget to put the lock back on.
But yeah, we went up there. I mean, somebody's been doing donuts around the little dugout thing. I mean,
Yeah.
there's been a lot of crap. Now again, and I don't know if you've been on the other side of the lake, but they've been over on Marlene's side doing it too.
In the parking lot, or?
In the parking lot, on the hill, through the volleyball court. I mean, you know, and it's nothing that can't be fixed with a rake, but it's
That's
getting
what's
bad. And I didn't have a chance to talk to Marlene today, so when you see her tomorrow, will you have her call me? But there's a gate there, maybe we're shutting that, because, you know, and it's sad, because I go up there a lot of times and I find, you know, people up there reading a book or having a morning coffee with somebody, you know,
And things are torn up.
and it's just a nice peaceful place to sit there and kind of watch the world go by. And, you know I go up there when I get a little grumpy, and, you know, and then it's just a nice spot to, you know, to have a cup of coffee and just, and then people are up there just tearing it up. It's just sad.
Yeah.
So are you there a lot?
Yeah.
So there's that, and just sticking with Wellings, I might as well talk about it now. We've got a couple of residents that want to, they've noticed a lot of dog remnants from the winter, and they find it there all the time. They're wanting to go and do a cleanup thing, so they're gonna take care of it. So just wanted to give me a heads up, to give you a heads up, that if you find a big bag of, because they're obviously gonna throw it in the garbage, they're not gonna throw it in their car.
Yeah.
So you might find a hefty bag full, depending on how much they get.
Okay.
And actually asked at the same time if we wouldn't mind putting up, and I'll look into them. And not a bad idea down there is to put up one of those, just on a post, pull a bag. It'd be down by, we'll take, not anything you have to do,
At Wellingsfield?
not really on the field, right down near the end of the wooden fence where they put the posts in the ground.
Yeah.
Kind of just before you go into, they find that seems to be a spot where that little pull-off is, where they find a lot of, yeah, so if we put one there, one of the residents who talked to me about it said he looked into it, the price, talked about $200.
Yeah, I don't think they're crazy. Matter of fact, I bet you can find one right in this magazine right here. My question is, you know, I'll give you a great example, okay? We bought a beautiful buck can that sits out front of the door of the firehouse, okay? I bet you, no exaggeration, we picked up with a broom and a shovel, where you aren't picking them up by hand. 500 cigarette butts today. That thing sits right there. I think it's gonna be the same thing.
It could be. You know what, for a couple $100 out of the Park and Rec, I think it's worth a shot to, because I agree too, because you find they've got 2 or 3 up by McCullough House, don't they?
I don't know.
They had a couple up there, and
There's still gotta be
I'll
a
tell you
place to put 'em.
that at the road race, there's more piles than you could imagine, and people stepping in it left and right because it's a busy time, so. I don't know, it's worth a shot. But nothing yet to do. I was just gonna run it by you that there might be one.
Is there a
We'll
trash
look
can
into
near
it.
there?
There is, actually, there's a trash can right by the
Trash
tree.
cans there.
Right across from where we'll put it, there's a trash can right there.
Because otherwise, yeah.
Sure, they'll throw the
They're not-
bag in
they're not
there.
gonna put it in
They
their
put
pocket.
Yep, nope, there's a trash can right across the way from where we would put it.
Worth trying.
Yep.
Is that it, sir?
Yeah, we do have, and I got an email from the state, and I don't know if we want to do that when David and me go to the state. I think we need at least one more person, and it's basically the financial plan, the town financial plan. We've done that before. You wrote budgets, and we sit there with this blue book, and then they basically look at it, and we give them what we're gonna do. And it all boils down to FEMA money, but I do have it here, and you guys can sign it if you want. Just me and Dave can go down and do it, and that way they got all signatures and we can get it turned in. But that's up to you. That's up to the board.
Yeah, just give me a call.
Is there a date set for that?
No, I got an email and I pick a date. So if you think Wednesdays, Tuesdays, give me a day. Give me a couple of them because I got to email the guy back from the state, and then we meet, and they can meet here. I mean, that's usually what they do. So you can just tell me that hey, any morning.
If you do, how long is the process?
10 minutes.
Oh. If you do any day after 2 o'clock, I can come too if you need it. I get out of school too, so I can zip right here, right after 2 o'clock.
That work for everybody else?
Just, yeah. Go ahead and pick the date that works, and then I think we'll at least be able to get 3 of us here, I think. Development review. Fire department. Water board. New business. We have some new business.
Yes. May 1st, the updates of the local emergency operations plan are due. And this year, we were told that if things really hadn't changed, all we need to do is update the cover sheet and re-sign it, or sign it. So I did review it. I hope I'm correct that I didn't see that there were any changes. I checked with the shelters, made sure that there were still shelters and the contact person was the same. And other things seem to be pretty straightforward. So I sent out the plan by email to the trustees. I only brought the master copy with me, and it only needs your signature, Matthew. The only reminder here is the request that or the requirement that we should be.
100. Take the.
Yeah, and now, there are 2 courses, 402 and 100. And actually, they're offering,
The 200.
it's the 200, right, here in Bennington.
The whole day.
Yeah, it is, it's
Next.
a big, yeah.
1st of May, is it? Sometime?
Let's see, I
I just
pulled
got that
the,
email today.
oh, yeah,
I'll
so
sign that.
anyway, there it is. Oh, it's not on here. But- Don't find anything that's changed, Matthew.
course, online.
Together and have
Just
popcorn.
sit down. I'm certifying that we'll be doing that. Is that the only place, Janice, to sign?
That's the only place, one page.
Kind of a cool document. I mean, it is just, it's pretty effective. I mean, it answers all your questions.
What you need. You don't want to be asking questions when it's.
Yeah.
When you really need it.
Well, actually, there was a train derailment out here this week. And
Heard about it.
Really?
Yeah, a minor one, I guess, but the rail had separated and the cars went off.
Just on the other side of the line pile, I think.
Really?
Yeah,
Traffic was stopped for over 3 hours on that road, but they had, luckily, the other end of the train stopped right here, so people could get around. But I got a lot of phone calls.
oh, did
Really?
you?
Oh, yeah.
Because I called Ed. Well, George heard about it, so he came home and said, "Gotta do something." So, so I tried to call you, but then I realized it's really would be Ed.
That's it.
So-
You went to your plan and saw who you
Yeah,
were supposed to call.
And he was right on it. I mean, he had already heard from someone else, but
How does one rectify that situation?
well, they just needed to stop the truck. Oh, I don't know how they got it back on.
Not got a lift, I don't know.
Wow. Yeah, that's a pretty big problem.
Did you hear anything about that? There was,
Yeah, it actually happened twice last week.
it was after 5
Yeah.
o'clock.
You know, the first time they had they got this rig that they set down and then they drive the car up and it kind of picks itself back on the track. And I have no idea. First one was over here and then the second one was down here and they came in Saturday and put a whole piece of track on. So whether I have no idea how I would assume they use the same rig. You know, they get a couple guys muscle it underneath there, and then they bolt it together, and it just bang, says skis, and it drives it up, puts it right back on.
Wow.
Easy peasy. And, you know, and,
You wouldn't think
I
that.
would not have guessed that would have been an easy task. for
you know,
anything.
I agree with it, that luckily they had enough, but no matter what, if the car was halfway in the street, they just go back and take it halfway off the platform and unhook it and pull it through. And,
Yeah, it was Friday night, was the
you
last
know,
one.
I guess everybody calling you, you know, geez, I'm sorry, I guess you gotta call somebody, but, you know, listen, this is the railroad.
I know.
You can't do anything.
Who I tell?
They do whatever they feel like it. They could park them across them 3 roads and not open up another one, and
Yeah.
there's nothing we're gonna do about it.
I was over here, well, I was here, then I went over there, went all the way around, still blocked, went, it was
Right, and it's-
50 minutes, and I finally got on the phone with the president of the,
Oh, good for you.
and of course he didn't answer, but I left a message.
It's just extremely unfortunate.
He got back to me, said,
Did he?
we take pride in do it using the least amount of inconvenience as possible, but otherwise, tough. That's too bad. That's it for your new business. We also have recommended a change or an amendment to the zoning map. The history on that is that the properties, there's a possibility of, maybe I should I read the warning? The change quickly? Do you care? It has to do with changing the zoning of 18 Prospect Street and 20 Prospect Street. Those are the nursing homes on the top of Prospect Street. To changing it from village residential to village residential professional. The logic there is it wasn't village residential for the last 30 years. And as it is trying to be repurposed, it seems clear that those buildings would be best to have the option of, someone could still buy them and have a residential property, but they would also have the possibility of creating office space, professional office space, and it sounds like there might be some interest in that. Typically, it's not a great idea to be spot zoning, something like that, but we don't see that as what we're doing here because it is, in fact, it's two properties next to each other that really lend themselves to that. We even discussed whether or not the entire street wouldn't maybe at some point benefit from that kind of change. It doesn't allow, it's still very restrictive in what kind of professional can go in. In fact, our VR does allow in-home businesses already, so people could do that anyway. We knocked that around a little bit and decided, well, let's see what happens here in terms of development. If something happens with this and it seems like it makes sense for some of the larger properties, maybe further down the street, that are already diced up into apartment buildings or something. Obviously, parking is the greatest concern there, and it looks like that can be resolved with the amount of room there is around those properties. So you've all read the report. I guess all we're looking for is a motion to adopt or a motion to approve. What are we doing exactly?
To
You're
amend it.
accepting the planning commission's recommendation.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll move that we accept the recommendation by the planning commission for those two properties, 18 and 20 Prospect Street.
A second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Now, as I understand it, there's a 40-day waiting period on this. So if there's any concerns people have, they have time to voice them, at which point that change will occur. And it is rather insignificant. Any other new business?
I guess this would fit under new. Do we have the new property we have down by the Waters Park from the power company? Are there markers set? Because I know it was.
I don't think we have it yet.
Oh, we don't? I thought that was a done deal.
Well, so did I. That was, remember that meeting? I don't believe we never finished the contract with Green Mountain. The survey was done, the survey was paid for.
Yeah.
It's all done. The last step I heard was that, I believe, was that they, from that meeting, the people involved with presenting the representatives from Green Mountain and the representative from Nance, I think, was gonna carry, the Green Mountain was gonna submit to our council a contract. And I just think it's like that.
Okay.
So,
Is there any action we need to?
there is no action, other than I guess I need to find out.
I was gonna stop down to see David Dents to see if he wanted to, now that we've got both those properties, to take a look at both those joining properties to see what could be done to just, not develop or anything like that, but obviously just try to clean it up a little bit and
Honeysuckle and all
and maybe
that.
give us some ideas of what we could do there.
It would be a good time now that we're owed, what, $1,700? Just, they wanted some amount of money for that. And
Yeah.
They owe us some money for the lights, for the street
I
lights,
think I
right?
got that though.
Did we get that?
Oh, they owe us a lot more than that.
Is that right?
It don't work that way. There's the land acquisition people and de-acquisition
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Well, what I might do is have him come down and take a look, because he wouldn't do anything right
Let him go
now.
ahead and take a look. Let's assume that we're gonna get this done. I believe that.
And I'll wait until I get word that we actually own it before we start.
This one. I mean, it's not that you can get down there right now and do anything in there. It's-
No, I assume that
it's
if
a
he comes,
dentist.
it'd probably be something he would look at for the fall semester. For the students, I think he's probably already got a plan for this semester.
Let me just make sure that Okay, yeah, let's try to get that, I'll try to get that wrapped up. think that in a way, in the back of my mind, every time I thought to myself that hadn't been completely done, I realized that it's not a significant amount of money, but it is money, and it's $1,500 or something we have to pay for it, so I think I was thinking we were in a position maybe not to do that right away. All right. Other old business?
I have an update on the charter
Oh, good.
change. Laurie submitted that to the Secretary of State, correct?
Correct.
His office, and they passed it on to the Office of Legislative Counsel. We got a phone call from Cameron Wood, who's handling that, and actually I just, after some phone tags, spoke with him. It's his job to draft the bill that the legislature will vote on, and he had a couple of questions. One was when it was approved here, which of course was town meeting day, and the other one had to do with a reference I'd made to in a section about not changes we were making this time, but it was the previous changes that had to do with the water department. And so I'll send him the information on that. I think the delay was that the legislature had approved it contingent on the court then looking into the deed of gift and approving it. So the dates were a bit skewed. So I have that. He said the process is he'll draft the bill, it will come back to us for a final reading to make sure that it's what we intended. We then hopefully approve it and send it back. It gets introduced by Tim Corcoran, Jr., or third, had said that he would do that, and Mr. Wood was saying that he felt that it would be able to go through the legislature. It has to go through both houses, yeah, this session. So
They wrap a lot of those up real quick at the end.
they have a, yeah, they do. Then, and there's usually not any controversy. He did say they may want to have someone from, the committee may want to have someone from the village there as when they consider the changes. If they do, I'm glad to go, depending on, you know.
Right.
I'm assuming I'd be able to do that.
That would be great. Well, keep us updated on that as we're down to a month now.
Right,
Just want
Right.
to make sure that
right.
the minute we get that back, we can do whatever we need to do to approve it and move on. Well, that'll be nice to have that done with. There's nothing else. There's a brief executive for legal matters, possibly contractual. So I will entertain a motion to go into executive session.
Also move.
I'll second.
All's in favor?
Aye.